I wake up every night around 3 o'clock in the morning. And there was a great poet, his name was Rumi, many, many years ago. He said, the morning breeze has secrets to tell you. Do not go back to sleep. Do not go back to sleep. Do not go back to sleep. And I've written many of the books that I've written when I've been awakened, and there's something, what is it? What is it that awakens me? It's like I can almost tell you the exact time. It's like, because in a film I did years ago called The Shift, they show a clock, it's 3:13 a.m., almost to the second, every single night. There's something, is that angels? Is that divine source? Is that someone saying, this is your purpose, this is the time, there's no distractions?
The thing we most want to say is that we're with you saying that all the time. Mm-hmm. So what's interesting to us is that that's the time that you decide to listen.
Right. But there's nobody else around to distract me.
And that's the important conversation to have. So what is it about that time? What is it that's happening there that makes you more resonant, that makes you more receptive? And it is that the momentum of your thought has stopped. So there is no contradictory vibration going on within you. So you're more likely to hear. Esther has been saying to herself, when she awakens like that, she will say, am I awake? Because if I'm awake, I am going to get up. And so it's conscious awareness of that high frequency vibration. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. But I find for me, the most creative moments are that middle of the night time when...
Well, think about what that is. When you think a thought for as little as 17 seconds, law of attraction will bring another thought like it to it. So momentum begins. So
what do you mean? Law of attraction will bring, what is law of attraction?
Let's say that you wake up in the morning and rather than finding that clear space that is potentially there for you to find, instead, as soon as you wake up, you remember the trouble that you had yesterday. And you think about being at work, and you think about the dilemma, and you think about the discomfort, and you think about the discord. And as you focus for as little as 17 seconds, more thoughts like that will join it.
Okay.
So another 17 seconds, more momentum still. Another 17 seconds, more momentum still, until you cross something as short as the 68-second mark. You have lost your window of alignment with Source. Doesn't mean, Esther said to us the other day, because we said, well, you can always begin again tomorrow. You can always begin again tomorrow. And Esther said, I refuse to accept that I have to wait all the way until tomorrow to get back on my high-flying disc. I can do it. I know I can do it by focusing. It's just so much easier. So we like to talk about law of attraction because it is the vibrational engine that manages everything. And we can't talk about law of attraction without talking about momentum, because there is a momentum in thought. And if you think a thought long enough, it becomes a strong habit of thought. It's what you call beliefs. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So sometimes you have beliefs that do not serve you. But when you first awaken, those beliefs are quiet enough that you can find a fresh one that comes from Source, that is about who you really are and what you really know.
Is the reverse of that if you awaken and you have a very positive thought? That is, I'm going to heal myself.
Well, that's a wonderful thing. Once you get that momentum going.
But like the 17-second rule apply to that as well?
It applies to everything. And the rule of thumb is when you acknowledge that law of attraction is, whether you like it or not, and you acknowledge that it is responding to the vibration that you are offering right now, and therefore momentum will get going. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, if the thought felt good, we'd think it. We'd think more about it. We'd talk about it. We'd write it down. We would discuss it with others. We would deliberately encourage that momentum. But if it's an uneasy thought, if it feels uncomfortable, then we would do our best to generalize it. The more specific you become in a thought, the more momentum. The more general you become in a thought, the slower the momentum. Esther remembers San Francisco, driving to the top of one of those, what she called ridiculous hills. She couldn't believe that people were actually driving on those hills. And so we said, well, imagine perching your car at the top of one of those hills, take it out of gear, take the brake off, and just for fun, just to see what happens, nudge it a little bit from behind. Well, you know what will happen. And if you come to your senses, you'll step out in front of it and let it bump up against you, and you will stop that unwanted momentum. But you would not want to be at the base of that hill stopping that unwanted momentum. Right. So your thoughts are the same way. When you get the hang of this, when you begin to realize that every thought is vibration and that law of attraction is responding to every thought, and the thought is going to increase, the only question is it one you want to increase? Because it's going to increase. Law of attraction insists that it does.